Golda Barton, extremely emotional and upset today, 3 days after her 13-year-old son was shot by police. Linden's brother feels the same.
He said he can't feel any feeling in his left hand. And, you know, he, from my understanding, got shot in both feet. And so now we'll never be able to, you know, do the things we used to do, like longboard and play video games together.
Barton says Linden has Asperger's syndrome, and on Friday night, he started having an emotional episode while she was at work. She drove home and says she called 911 and asked for a CIT officer to come help. That's an officer with specialized training dealing with mental illness.
I explained to them he's upset. He's having an episode. He needs to go to the hospital.
Barton says when officers knocked on her door, her son got scared and ran. She didn't see what happened next, but says she heard it.
It was less than 5 minutes. How could it have escalated in less than 5 minutes? He was running away. I was like, okay. Like, they just unloaded a whole clip in my son, and probably he's dead because he's so small.
All right, racist white people. It doesn't just happen to black kids. Yes, this disproportionately affects black people because there's systemic racism and white supremacy in policing, and they're heavily militarized, so they have less patience for and less grace for and less humanity showed to black people. So it's always going to affect them more, but it also affects white people. So does that change your opinion, or are you still not just a racist, but you're also an authoritarian bootlicker that's okay with a 13-year-old autistic child, or child with autism, I should say, getting shot multiple times? And you heard his mother's pain there. I mean, this is why we need to defund the police. I know people are confused by that phrase, but it really means take funding away and reallocate that funding to mental health resources, mental health professionals, not cops who say there's some mental health task force, which was the case here. People who actually have training in this industry. They can adequately deal with a son who's having an episode. His mother told the police that things like this happen and she needed some help. She went to public servants for help and they shot her son. So, can you guys empathize with this now? White racists, can you? Because it's a white kid. Please, just tell me you can so I have some hope for humanity. Her pain just broke my heart. Golda Barton told KUTV she called 911 to request a crisis intervention team because her son, who has Asperger's syndrome, was having an episode caused by bad separation anxiety as his mother went to work for the first time in more than a year. I said, he's unarmed, he doesn't have anything, he just gets mad and he starts yelling and screaming, she said. He's a kid, he's trying to get attention, he doesn't know how to regulate. They're supposed to come out and be able to de-escalate the situation using the most minimal force possible. Instead, she said, 2 officers went through the front door of her home and in less than 5 minutes were yelling, "Get on the ground," before firing several shots. He's a small child, she said. Why didn't you just tackle him? He's a baby. He has mental issues. In a briefing on Sunday, Sergeant Keith Horrocks of Salt Lake City Police told reporters officers were responding to reports a juvenile was having a mental episode and thought Cameron had made threats to some folks with a weapon. Police confirmed they did not find a weapon on the scene. No weapon on the scene, but you can just say that you saw one, as in the case with Jacob Blake. Yeah, he was definitely... Well, we'll repeat as we're recorded, but we don't have body cam footage, that Jacob Blake is a knife, just to cover our ass, basically, when we shoot this guy 7 times in the back. Yeah, we're gonna say that this 13-year-old child with autism, he had some sort of weapon, and then that's gonna CYA cover our ass when it comes to the paperwork. 'Cause I'm sure they're very, very distraught about having to do so much paperwork. It reminds me of the story of Elijah McClain, the boy who I believe was also on the spectrum, who was killed by police in Colorado, just over the border from Utah there. We hope that Cameron is going to survive. He seems to be in stable condition from what I've read from these local reports. But Elijah McClain died. And his last words were, quote, "I'm an introvert. I'm just different. That's all. I'm so sorry. That's why you need to defund the police and ensure that we have social workers, people who are equipped to understand these things, to deal with these things peacefully. All of this just breaks my heart. And I'm sick of the Black Lives Matter murals. I'm sick of the talk and the corporate slogans. I want reform. We need it now.